Last spring, my lawn was the biggest joke on the block. Yellow, thin, bald patches everywhere, hard as a rock when you stepped on it. Even the dandelions didn't want to grow. I spent hundreds of dollars on big bags and little bags of lawn fertilizer. I followed the instructions, watered, waited 10 days. The grass greened up a little, then crashed right back, worse than before. My wallet was empty, and my lawn still looked like a mangy mess. Then I spent less than $2 in 3 weeks, and turned it into a thick, deep green carpet that the neighbors bent down to touch. The secret wasn't some high-tech product. It was something that goes down my kitchen sink. That's right, your urine. Don't close the video yet. Let me tell you something. Before World War II, before synthetic fertilizers took over every garden center, farmers and estate managers knew one thing. Human urine is the best fast-acting nitrogen fertilizer there is, and it's free. The early agricultural extension bulletins from Cornell and Ohio State are full of field data on fermented urine for lawns. Then after the war, the chemical plants that had been making explosives switched to making fertilizer, and that old method quietly got kicked out of the textbooks. Why? Because if everyone used the free stuff from their own bathroom, who would buy the multi-billion-dollar fertilizer business? Today, I am going to give you the whole forbidden recipe. I'll tell you why it works, exactly how to make it, and the one red line you absolutely cannot cross. Do it right, and your lawn will turn into a green carpet in 3 weeks. Do it wrong, and you'll get a brown, stinking mess. First, let's talk about why urine is such a big deal. Urine contains urea, uric acid, creatinine, minerals, and growth hormones. Urea is a form of nitrogen that plants can take up almost instantly. For every 3 inches of new growth, your lawn burns through a lot of nitrogen. But if you pour fresh urine straight on your grass, it is like throwing acid on it. Fresh urine is way too strong. It will burn the roots like boiling water. On top of that, as urine breaks down, it releases ammonia. The smell alone will knock you over, and the ammonia will scorch the blades. So we have to go through a simple fermentation step to turn that poison into a lawn exploding tonic. The recipe I am about to give you, I've been using it for 3 years. Each batch costs less than $2. Here is what you need. A 5-gallon plastic bucket with a lid. A new one from the hardware store costs a few bucks, or wash out an old paint bucket. Then you need to collect your urine. A healthy adult produces about 1 to 2 quarts per Dalton Y. Save it for 3 to 5 days. But here is the red line. If you are taking prescription medication, especially antibiotics, chemotherapy drugs, or if you have a urinary tract infection, do not use your urine. The drug residues will contaminate your soil. Now, let's make the fermented brew. Pour your collected urine into the bucket, about 1 quarter full. Then add the same amount of plain water, dilute it by half. This is the first dilution, very important. Next, you need 2 things as fermentation starters. First, 2 tablespoons of molasses, or brown sugar. The sugar feeds the beneficial microbes. They multiply fast, converting the urea in the urine into a form plants can use, while holding down the ammonia smell. Second, a handful of dry hay or a few dry leaves. The hay is covered with Bacillus subtilis that is your fermentation workhorse. No hay. Use a tablespoon of old compost or a handful of garden soil. Then add water until the bucket is 2/3 full. Stir everything together. Put the lid on, but do not screw it tight. Leave a small gap for gas to escape. Open the lid and stir once a day. You'll smell a sweet, bready fermentation smell, not sharp ammonia. Keep the bucket in a shady spot. In summer, let it ferment 7 to 10 days. In winter, 14 to 20 days. When you see a white foam on the surface and the smell turns sour sweet, it is ready. After fermentation, you have a concentrated liquid. Before you apply it to your lawn, you must dilute it again. For lawns, the ratio is only part. Concentrate to 10 parts water. That means 1 cup of concentrate to 10 cups of water. That 1:2 Faden ratio is the safety line. Fey do not cheat. If you use a stronger concentration, you'll get fertilizer burn. Fey, the tips of the grass blades will turn yellow and crisp. If you accidentally overfeyaply, immediately hose down the area with plenty of plain water. When should you apply it? Late evening or on a cloudy day? When the soil is already, never apply it in the midday sun. Don't apply it right before a heavy rain or it will just wash away. Use a watering can or a hose and sprayer. Apply evenly to your lawn. Figure about half a gallon of diluted mixture per 10 square feet. After you apply it, don't walk on the lawn for at least 2 hours. The next morning, spray again with plain water to rinse any residue off the blades. Fey. This prevents sunburn. Worried about the smell. After full fermentation, that sharp ammonia smell is mostly gone, replaced by a mild sour sweet scent. It fades a few hours after you water it in. If you are still nervous, toss a few citrus peels into the bucket during fermentation, or add a teaspoon of lemon juice. Fey, it adds a little fresh scent. Some people will say, that is disgusting, but think about it. Your grandparents farmed this way. They didn't spend a dime, and their soil was still fertile. Modern cities flush billions of gallons of liquid gold down the toilet, then spend billions on sewage treatment plants, then spend billions more buying chemical nitrogen from factories. Doesn't that seem crazy? Let me tell you a true story. My neighbor Tom had the worst lawn on the street. He hired lawn companies, spent hundreds of dollars. Fey, they'd core, farrate, spray, fertilize. Fey. It would look better for a month, then crash again. I told him about this fermented brew. He refused. He said it was disgusting, his wife said. If you don't fix that lawn, our property value is going to drop. So Tom held his nose and tried one batch. 3 weeks later, his lawn was shooting up new growth from the roots, turning from yellowish fey green to deep emerald. The neighbors stopped to ask what company he was using. Tom said, "My fertilizer is free." He didn't say what it was, but we all knew. One advanced trick doubles the effect. Stir a handful of wood ash into the fermented concentrate. Wood ash is rich in potassium. Fey. It makes grass stems thicker, more drought tolerant, and resistant to falling over. But be careful. Wood ash is alkaline, and the fermented brew is acidic. They'll bubble when you mix them. Add the ash slowly, stirring as you go. The finished blend is fantastic for root development. How often do you apply it? Once every 3 to 4 weeks during the growing season. Don't overdo it. Even your lawn needs rest. Too much nitrogen causes weak growth and disease. If your lawn has broadleaf weeds like clover or dandelions, this fermented brew will make them grow faster too. You'll need to mow regularly or spot pull them. For broadleaf weeds, a mix of vinegar and dish soap works as a spot spray. But that is another story. And one more hidden rule. If you have a dog, especially a female dog, she'll have favorite spots where she urinates. Those spots often turn yellow from the burn of fresh urine. Do not apply your fermented brew to those yellow patches. That spot will die for sure. First, hose down those areas several times to flush out the fresh urine. Wait until the soil recovers. Then you can use your brew. A lot of you watching this are thinking, this guy is crazy teaching people to pour urine on their lawn. But back in the day, your grandparents did exactly that. They didn't spend a dime and the soil was still rich. Now you spend hundreds of dollars a year on chemical bags, and in return you get a weaker lawn and poorer soil. The real thing that has been banned isn't this recipe, it is the knowledge that what goes out of our bodies can go back into the earth. That is not dirty. That is a closed loop. If you can get past the idea, spend a couple bucks on a jar of molasses and an old bucket. Save your urine for 2 weeks. You can watch your own lawn go from half dead to the pride of the neighborhood, and you'll never worry about your kids or pets playing on chemically treated grass again. Comment below, are you brave enough to try this forbidden recipe? Give yourself a score from 1 to 10. 1 means no way, never. 10 means I am starting to save my urine tonight. Hit like and subscribe. Next time I'll show you how to use another kitchen scrap to make a moss killer for your lawn. Take care of your soil, and your feet will thank you. I'll see you next time.